And she told me that she had something to tell me. So she trying to go off or whatever. She was like, no, Lily, I want Lily to hear it, you know. When she told me Lily was not my daughter, Lily was standing right there because I will never forget the face that she had, the expression on her face when she said.
I had to go through the drama with Miss Johnson, up and down the road, following me.
How can she remember me chasing her up and down the street, but she can't remember father her child? Why am I living in her head rent-free, but she can't remember who fathered her child? He's always been there, song and dance she doing. I'm telling the truth.
Partying, you know what I'm saying? Then I get this call. I was like, I haven't saw this number in a while. You know what I'm saying? I wonder what she wants. Probably want to kick it, probably remember it's my birthday or something. And she's like, I'm pregnant. I'm like, what?
You won't believe this guy. Mr. Flowers opens the case by insisting he is not the biological father of 2-month-old Callie, despite having signed her birth certificate thinking he was. He's here to prove it with a DNA test.
Mr. Flowers, you have brought your ex-girlfriend to court today to prove that you are not biological father of her 2-month-old daughter, Callie. You claim you were into naming the baby and signing her certificate, and now the DNA test prove your case.
Here's where it gets spicy. Ms. Diaz hits back, saying Mr. Flowers' doubts are all about his jealousy and insecurity. She's totally sure that Mr. Flowers is the daddy, even though, yeah, she did have a fling.
Ms. Diaz, you claim that it was Flowers' jealousy and insecurity that drove you to have sex with another man, but you confident Mr. Flowers is your daughter's biological father. Now, waiting in the hallway is Mr. Bowman, the man cheated with, who Mr. Flowers believes Callie's dad.
Grab your popcorn for this one. Mr. Flowers shares a touching moment talking about his bond with Callie, thinking she knows he's her dad from her big baby smiles.
Every time I walk in the room, she smiles. Like, daddy is here. She smiled like she loved me. So it's like, I can't imagine Callie not being mine.
But you have doubt.
Yeah, I have doubt. Everybody gonna have doubt if you're sleeping around.
And now, you believe Mr. Bowman is Callie's biological father.
I believe it.
Oh snap, check this out. Ms. Diaz drops a bombshell, revealing the conception timeline matches up perfectly with when she was with Mr. Flowers. No one else could be the dad, she claims.
So Ms. Diaz, you say you have no doubt.
No, Your Honor. The doctor confirmed the time of conception was around the time that I had sex with Mr. Flowers. We were the only two people together at that time, first week of August, and there could be no other possibility but Mr. Flowers.
You gotta hear this accusation. Mr. Flowers lays it all out, questioning if Ms. Diaz is just using him because he's Mr. Reliable, while other potential dads are MIA.
Let's be honest, she sleep around. In my head, it's like, do you want me to be there because you know I'm gonna be the good father, or are you just gonna use me because you can't find these other dudes to be the father?
She's saying you're the father because you're the steady Eddie.
True story.
So Ms. Diaz, he says you were sleeping around. Were you? Is that true?
Yes, Your Honor.
Didn't see that coming, did ya? In a startling revelation, Ms. Diaz admits to Mr. Flowers and the entire courtroom that there was another man during the time of conception she hadn't mentioned before.
When I first found out that I was pregnant and I called him on his birthday.
That you're pregnant, but it might not be yours?
Yes, Your Honor. I didn't realize
That's what you heard on your birthday that year, Mr. Flowers?
Partying, you know what I'm saying? Then I get this call. I was like, I haven't saw this number in a while. You know what I'm saying? I wonder what she wants. Probably want to kick it, probably remember it's my birthday or something. And she's like, I'm pregnant. I'm like, what?
This is where it gets really good. Mr. Bowman steps into the picture, confidently denying that he thinks Callie is his, despite the intimate timing. Stay tuned, you won't want to miss what's next.
Ms. Diaz has admitted in court that she was intimate with you and with Mr. Flowers about a week apart. Are you aware that you are one of the potential fathers?
Yes, ma'am, I'm aware.
Do you believe Callie is your child?
No, ma'am, I do not.
You did have sex with her, right?
We did have sex.
Without protection?
Without protection.
You understand that's how babies are made.
Brace yourself for this doozy.
Mr. Bowman, you are not father.
Buckle up, here we go. The case of Davis v. Smith is called to order with a bang. Miss Davis is all set in the courtroom, ready to tackle the daddy dilemma involving her 2-year-old son, Javion, who might call one of 4 guys dad, including the defendant, Mr. Smith. The air is thick with anticipation as everyone's geared up to unravel this paternity pickle. Stick around because the emotional roller coaster is just leaving the station.
Ms. Davis, you're in court today hoping to right your wrong. When your 2-year-old son, Javion, was born, he had 4 possible fathers, including the defendant. You hope today's result help you find your son's father, heal your broken heart. Mr. Smith, you argue that Ms. Davis actually told you you were not her son's father.
Grab your tissues, folks. Miss Davis steps up with a heart-wrenching story of her tough times bouncing between foster homes, lacking any father figure. This tough backdrop makes her desperate to pin down her son's dad today. Tears roll as she dives into her past mistakes and their impact on her quest today. Hold tight because the courtroom is about to turn into an emotional whirlwind.
I mean, Your Honor, as a child, I had a very bad childhood. I went 13 different foster homes. I've been to 4 different group homes, and I didn't grow up knowing who my father was until I was 18 years old. And my son's only 2. I mean, it's not his fault that I decided to make, well, practically a hoe of myself when I was of that age.
Just when you thought it was safe, Mr. Smith drops a bombshell of doubt about being Javion's pops, blaming it on their short-lived fling. He's really not into playing daddy without proof, given their fleeting fun times. This guy's raising eyebrows and defenses faster than you can say Maury. Wait till you see what's up next. It's a real plot twister.
And so why are you doubtful that you potentially could be Javion's father?
Because she said I wasn't, Your Honor.
She told you you weren't.
Yes. I asked if I could be the father, and she told me no, Your Honor.
I need you to walk me through that.
There are 4 potential fathers. Each of the individual men I actually met on a chat line within days upon each other.
Things get spicy now. The court squints at a calendar Miss Davis brought, which plots her escapades with the potential papas over the fateful conception period. It's like a treasure map, but instead of gold, it's paternity at stake. This crucial piece of paper might just hold the key to this mystery. Brace yourself. The next revelation is a doozy.
So this calendar shows you were intimate potential father number 1 on the 12th of November.
That would be my ex-boyfriend.
So this is a guy you'd been in a relationship with.
Yes, Your Honor.
For how long?
Maybe a steady year.
So you had sex with him on the 12th, 13th.
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh boy, the plot thickens. Miss Davis spills the beans about her rocky revisit to her ex and the lackluster vibe with Mr. Smith. It's like a soap opera without the commercial breaks. Every word she drops adds layers to this tangled web of relationships and regrets. Up next, things get even juicier. Get ready for some bombshells.
After that week with Mr. Smith, yeah, I did go back to my ex. It wasn't satisfactory, so I didn't really feel the need to go back.
It wasn't satisfactory? The man in blue, potential father 3. Who's that?
Another man which intimate with only one.
Where'd you meet him?
Same place I met Mr. Smith on a chat line.
Cue the dramatic music. 2 of the contenders for daddy have been ruled out already, thanks to some earlier DNA detective work. Now it's down to Mr. Smith and the mysterious man number 4. The suspense is building. Will Mr. Smith dodge the daddy title, or is he the father? The truth is just around the corner, and it's a jaw-dropper.
Got number 1 and number 3 both tested, and they both came back negative.
So did him not being his child contribute to the relationship ending?
Caused a lot of issues. We just both called it quits.
And you also had potential father number 3 tested.
Earlier this year, I actually got him tested because that's when I finally got in touch with him.
Hold on to your seats. This is where it gets spicy. Mr. Smith is squirming under the spotlight, kinda acknowledging he might be the dad, but really hoping he's not. As the tension mounts between him and Miss Davis, you can cut the uncertainty with a knife. The big reveal is up next, and it's gonna be a shocker.
After she told me, Your Honor, I was confused about it.
How long ago was that you told him, Miss Davis?
The first time or the second?
The first time.
First time my son was around 5 months old that I told him he was a possum.
When Javion was 5 months old?
Yes, Your Honor.
So it's been like a year and a half after that?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you've only seen him 1 time?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, folks, here comes the moment of truth.
In the case of Davis v. Smith pertaining to 2-year-old Javion Davis, Mr. Smith, you are not Javion's father.
This next bit is a real doozy. Mr. Carroll is here to throw down the gauntlet, adamant that he is the biological father of 26-year-old Shirletha Carroll. He's challenging his ex, Ms. Goggins, who begs to differ. His whole heart believes he's daddy, and he's here to prove just that. Buckle up, because the emotional roller coaster is just getting started.
Mr. Carroll, you are here to prove to your ex-girlfriend, Ms. Goggins, that you are the biological father of her 26-year-old daughter, Shirletha Carroll. You say when your daughter was 5 years old, and told you another man was her father, but you refuse to believe.
Grab your tissues. It's getting intense. Mr. Carroll is all in his feels, swearing up and down that Shirletha is his, no matter what anyone says. His emotional plea paints a vivid picture of his unwavering belief. But keep your eyes peeled, because the next part will have you on the edge of your seat.
And I know I love Lily. I always trust Betty that she my daughter. Can't nobody tell me otherwise. This is my daughter.
All of these years, you never had doubt.
No, and truthfully, I've never been emotional like this. So it really means a lot for me to find out now that Lily is my daughter. Because in my heart, I know she knows she's my daughter. I always told her she's my.
Things are heating up in this kitchen. Ms. Goggins stands her ground, insisting that her brief fling is the real Papa Bear. This bombshell might just set everything up for an even bigger reveal. The suspense is building, and trust me, you'll want to stick around for the fireworks.
You say you had a one-night stand, and you're so sure that this one-night stand is your daughter.
With Jesse, we were basically broken up, and then I end up going to her father saying that I needed someone to talk to, so me and him end up having sex, and I knew that it was
the one-night stand,
the hairdresser.
Let the bickering begin. A fiery exchange erupts over who said what and about Shirletha's daddy drama. Ms. Goggins claims she spilled the beans right from the start, but Mr. Carroll is calling bluff. The truth is just around the corner, so don't touch that dial.
Mr. Carroll, when do you remember first time?
She never told me that. I tell you for a fact.
I told you that I am pregnant by someone else and you didn't want to believe it. Maybe it hurted you because I had sex with someone else, but I've told you that I was not pregnant by you.
She never told me that.
Yes,
Never.
I did.
Never did she tell me that.
You're not ready for this jelly. Mr. Carroll recalls the gut-wrenching moment Ms. Goggins dropped the bomb right in front of their daughter, claiming he wasn't the father. The memory is vivid, the emotions raw. Hang tight, because there's more drama to come, and it's juicy.
Lily was 5 years old, and she came over my mother's house, and she told me that she had something to tell me. So she trying to go off or whatever. She was like, no, Lily, I want Lily to hear it, you know. When she told me Lily was not my daughter, Lily was standing right there, because I will never forget the face that she had, the expression on her face when she said.
I do recall we went over there one day, and it was a discussion about me not being his daughter.
Get ready for some feels. The court digs into the sentimental value of nicknames and family ties, with Mr. Carroll cherishing the nickname Lily he gave Shirlitha. It's a heartfelt testament to his emotional bond, regardless of the biological question mark. And guess what? The emotional twists are not done yet.
Lily was my daughter. That's my nickname. That Shirlitha is my family. That's her name from my family.
But it didn't come from you.
It's my people in my family, though.
It don't matter whose family it came from, Shirlitha.
After she was born, in the early parts of her life, you were there as her father.
I was there.
You was just there too, because you did not buy, so you just was there.
Here comes the big reveal.
Mr. Carroll, you are her father.
Here comes the spice. Ms. Allen rolls up, dropping a bombshell that after a quick fling with Mr. Childs, she ended up pregnant. Mr. Childs was cool with it initially, claiming daddy duties until his wife gave him the side-eye. He flipped the script. Ms. Allen is here, all fired up, show that Mr. Childs is indeed her daughter's dad. Strap in, because the roller coaster is just leaving the station.
Miss Allen, you say that after a brief affair with Mr. Childs, you discovered you were pregnant with your daughter, Ms. Baylor. You say Mr. Childs acknowledged paternity until his wife convinced him otherwise. You intend to prove that Mr. Childs is, in fact, your daughter's father.
Next up, Mr. Childs takes the mic, admitting to the fling but calling out Ms. Allen for playing the field around baby-making time. He, backed up by his wife, denies being the dad, kicking off a fiery debate about who's who in the daddy zoo. Buckle up, the next part's a doozy.
Mr. Childs, you admit the affair with Ms. Allen, but say she was involved with several other people around the time of conception. You and your wife contend that you are not Baylor's father.
Hold on to your popcorn, folks. The heat turns up as Ms. Allen and Mr. Childs duke it out over why it took 2 decades to get a DNA test rolling. Ms. Allen sidesteps like a pro, hinting she wanted to dodge the drama, while Mr. Childs is all about clearing the air with a test. The saga continues, and you'll want to see what's next.
You should blame herself, Your Honor.
What?
Why did it take you 20 years to figure out that you should get a DNA test?
Because I didn't need to go through the drama. How did you all even get together?
She was friends with cousins of mine. We got together like that. We ended up messing around or whatever.
You won't believe this twist. Dive into the backstory of their casual hookup turned baby drama. They connected over mutual friends and some post-game drinks, and boom, things got a little too cozy. Ms. Allen pins the conception on one blurry night. Stay tuned. The plot thickens from here.
So you all get together, you have mutual friends, you start having sex.
Well,
obviously unprotected.
It started like this. We had a friend that got killed. Me and him, you know, I would call and check on him and things like that. Then one day, I just came through after football, and he wanted to ride with me. We went on and had drinks or whatever. That's when we had sex.
Just when you think you've seen it all, Ms. Allen throws shade, claiming Mr. Childs knew about the pregnancy from gossip. Mr. Childs is ready with a clapback, pushing for a DNA test to sort out the mess. It's a tangled web they weave, and you won't believe what comes out of the woodwork next.
And once you got pregnant, did you tell Mr. Childs pregnant and I think it could be yours?
Actually, it was rumors, so he came to me.
You spread the rumor. People are coming.
If I had family and I'm pregnant or whatever, but
why aren't you telling the truth? You didn't know father was.
Well, you knew that from day one.
Cue the awkward silence. Ms. Allen is in the hot seat, trying to justify why she's pointing fingers at Mr. Childs now, when there were other contenders for the title of dad. Her explanation is as clear as mud, adding more fuel to this dumpster fire of a paternity question. The courtroom's about to turn into a circus. Watch for flying accusations.
I was messing with him first.
How do you know?
From them. What you mean? How do I know that? I had to go through the drama with Miss Johnson, up and down the road, following me.
How can she remember me chasing her up and down the street, but she can't remember father her child? Why am I living in her head rent-free, but she can't remember who fathered her child? He's always been there, song and dance she doing. I'm telling the truth.
Tears and truth's time. Ms. Baylor steps up, sharing her heart-tugging story of piecing together her family puzzle through Facebook and whispers from relatives. She thought one man was her dad until the plot twisted at age 14. The truth is stranger than fiction, folks. Get ready. The emotional climax is just around the corner.
I was about 14 when I first found out my sister's dad wasn't my dad. Just hearing rumors, just going over my grandmother's house in Bowling Green would come to me like, "You're my cousin, TJ's your dad." I'm like, like, I don't know who TJ is. I went about it myself. I found him on Facebook, hit him up. I don't know what's going on, but I do actually want to know.
Did I ever once deny you?
Nah, you never did.
Never once.
And now, the moment of truth.
It has been determined by this court. Child, you are not the father.
So, get this. Ms. Hannon grew up thinking one dude was her dad until he dropped the bomb, saying, nah, not your pops. Fast forward, and on her deathbed, her mom whispers that another guy, Mr. David Dorsey, is the real deal. Phelan's here to sort out the daddy drama and find some peace.
Miss Hannon, you grew up believing one man was your father until the age of 13 when he said, I am not your daddy. Your mother then told you on her deathbed that another man, defendant David Dorsey, is your biological father and gained closure. And you have never spoken to or laid eyes on Mr. Dorsey, but will meet him for the very first time today.
You won't believe this bit. When Ms. Hannon tried inviting her so-called dad to a daddy-daughter dance, he was like, whoops, you got the wrong guy. Find your real dad. The crowd gasped so loud, you'd think it was a horror show. Buckle up, it's about to get even crazier.
I called him one day, the daddy-daughter dance, and instead of his response being, yes, I'll be there, it was, your mother's still lying to you, not your dad, you need to go find your real dad.
How cruel. I know that had to be hard.
Yeah.
Hold on to your popcorn, folks. Here comes the big moment. Ms. Hannon finally meets David Dorsey, the man her mom claimed was her bio dad. Mr. Dorsey strolls in, totally snubs her, and the air gets thick with awkward. You'll want to stick around to see how this plays out.
Mr. Dorsey, this young woman has waited many, many years to meet you. She's been told that you are her biological father.
Yes, ma'am.
You walked through the doors, you walked right past her, no hug. You didn't even really look at her, acknowledge her.
I acknowledged her. I looked at her.
You don't believe you're her biological father?
No, Your Honor.
Talk about a plot twist. Mr. Dorsey swears he doesn't remember Phelan's mom, like at all, knocking the possibility of him being the dad right out the park. Phelan whips out a photo of her mom, and still, nada. He's clueless. The courtroom's buzzing, and you won't want to miss what happens next.
Because I don't remember her mother at all.
You don't remember her mother.
I don't know her mother.
You are standing here at the defendant's podium in this courtroom today saying you know you cannot be Miss Hannon's biological father because you have never met her mother.
No, I haven't, Your Honor.
Miss Hannon, do you have a picture of your mother with you? Show that picture to Mr. Dorsey. Do you remember that woman?
No, ma'am.
Here's where it gets juicy. Phelan's godmother steps up and spills the tea, claiming she's seen Dorsey and Phelan's mom together back in the day. Mr. Dorsey's memory suddenly seems a bit fishy, right? The twists keep coming.
Well, Your Honor, me and Phelan's mother, Veronica, we worked together. Mr. Dorsey, I have seen him come to the job, bring her mom lunch. He still looks the same, but he had just got a little heavier.
You don't remember any of
Your
this?
Honor, I've never had sex with.
You worked at the fast food restaurant, though.
Yes, ma'am.
Feel the feels here, people. Phelan lays it all out, hoping Dorsey really is her dad. Because, hello, family ties. She's talking aunts, uncles, the whole shebang. Her plea tugs at the heartstrings. Big time. Grab your tissue. This emotional roller coaster isn't slowing down yet.
I don't know.
You don't know?
Like if he is my dad, I have sisters, I have brothers, I have nieces. If he's not, it's just me and my 3 kids. So I love you.
Okay, stop, just don't cry. Because like I told you before, you are my sister, period.
And just when you think you've seen it all, Phelan's supposed sis, Melody, is all in, calling Phelan her sister, no matter what the DNA says. It's like watching a soap opera, but better. Keep watching. The judge is about to drop some serious news.
And I see the beautiful bond you, Ms. Dorsey, and Ms. Hannon have formed as sisters, you believing and accepting and loving her as a sister.
I don't know about mother's infidelity or anything like that. Only thing I know is that Fallon is my sister. That's all I know, and that's all I care about.
And I think it's important to note that Hannon is standing there because she does want to know where she came from.
Here comes the moment of truth.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Dorsey, you are not the father.
Guess what just rolled into court today? At the beginning, Miss Sheets strolls in with a story wilder than a reality TV show. She's here to get a court order for a paternity test because, get this, her entire life she's been told 2 different dudes could be her dad. The judge, looking intrigued as ever, is all in for this roller coaster of a family drama.
Ms. Sheets, you are here petitioning the court to order the defendant to take a paternity test. Your entire life, you've been led to believe 2 different men were your father. But the defendant, Mr. Rhodes, of this only 2 months ago and has always believed is your father.
Talk about a soap opera twist. Mr. Rhodes drops a bombshell that he only got the memo about the paternity test 2 months ago. He's been on the dad duty train, believing Miss Sheets is his kid all along, and he's not ready to jump off yet. He's all heart and conviction. He's laying it on thick.
Mr. Rhodes, you say a bomb was dropped on you. Plaintiff asked for a paternity test. You stand firmly on the fact that she is your biological daughter and feel there's no need for a DNA test.
In my heart, this is my daughter. I've been with her since she was born, 35 years. years and embedded in my heart.
To decide whether or not there is sufficient evidence to order a paternity test.
Here comes the plot twist. Miss Sheets whips out a birth certificate so mysterious it doesn't even list a dad. Like, hello? How's a girl to know who to call on Father's Day? This crucial piece of paper just deepens the plot soup we're stirring here.
And also I would like to submit this evidence. There is no name on this birth certificate.
You grew up thinking Mr. Rhodes was your biological father until your parents split up. How old were you then?
I was 4. We were in Chicago with him and his family, but he went to the military. So we were still there until the age of 4.
And then there were fewer. Just when you thought it couldn't get more complicated, Miss Sheets throws in that both her mom and the other potential dad contender, Mr. Smith, have left the building permanently. This leaves more questions than answers in our tale of paternal mystery.
Your mom and Mr. Smith have passed away.
Yeah.
Mr. Rhodes, so just 2 months ago, you got word you weren't their biological father, and that person was the young woman you believed to be your daughter for the last 30-something years. What did you feel like when you got that call?
Can't even describe it, but I'm confident and I know this is my daughter. It's very confusing.
Let's add some feels to the mix. Mr. Rhodes isn't just here for a cameo. He's been a leading man in her life story, supporting her through thick and thin, emotionally and financially. Despite not being listed on any official doc as her pops, he's been dadding like a pro.
I was always there providing, doing things that she needed done as a child, you know, and it felt natural. And I remember her looking at me like, who are you? And I didn't really pay no attention, but I felt it. I didn't feel that closeness from her. From my grandmother telling me this is my child, I've embedded in me, I'm gonna love this child, care the best I can, regardless of what's going on. One day when she grown.
Real talk time. Now, Miss Sheets isn't just solving this daddy dilemma for kicks. She's got a kiddo of her own and needs to clear up the family tree before things get too tense. It's all about setting the record straight for the next generation.
When I was younger, by the adults in my life, and now that I'm, my age, I have a son now, and I just can't let this go on any longer. I have to know who his grandfather is and who my dad is.
But when you get 13 or you get in school, everybody's got one dad, you started to realize life doesn't make sense.
It doesn't.
Judges got the floor. With all eyes on her, Judge Lake decides it's time to cut through the suspense and order a paternity test. This could be the big reveal we've all been waiting for, or just another cliffhanger in the ongoing saga of Who's Your Daddy?
I think there is clearly enough evidence to order a paternity test. So the court is going to do just that. We're going to get some answers that I think all so desperately need. So when you leave the court, you are going to go submit to the laboratory testing, and we will reconvene here. I will have the results for you. Court is adjourned.
Can I get a drum roll from the back? It's the moment of truth.
The biological father is Mr. Rhodes.
Really? Oh, man.